Let's unlock your rudiments. Hello, I'm Felipe Drago, and I'm here to talk about this book, Drumset for Beginners, Rudiments Unlocked, that I wrote with my friend Paul Hose. This is a series of videos that give support to this book. Before we start with the exercises, a few things. This book is dedicated to Joe Porcaro. He was a pioneer in unlocking the rudiments. Before his book, people learned the rudiments, learned to play the drums, and hoped that eventually everything would come together. Joe wrote a drum set method where he teaches how to apply rudiments to beats, to drum fills, to grooves, to a lot of different stuff. And inspired by him, we decided to write this book. Joe's book is for advanced players, upper intermediate to advanced players. And as the title says, this book is for beginners. Our idea was drummers who have just started to play the drums or are playing drums for a very short period of time can already benefit from applying rudiments to their grooves and create drum fills, grooves, and everything that was created in Joe's book. So for beginners or for people who never practiced the rudiments with the intention to apply them to the drum set, this is your book. The other thing I would like to say is read the printed word. There's a lot of stuff in here. For example, how to use the book. A foreword from our friend Pat Garvey. He was very kind in writing a foreword for this book. Me and Paul, we introduce ourselves in this book so you can know our background and where we come from. There's a little bit of discussion about the technique. Hopefully you're doing this book with a teacher so the teacher can go in depth with this. A little bit how to practice, a table so you can keep track. You can make copies of the table so you keep track for a long, long time. And the part that I like the most on this book is the history of the rudiments. Okay? We did a very big research to know where they come from. It's very important to know where they come from and how they are used in the present day. Okay? So read this. Every drummer should know rudiments, because the rudiments for drummers are like the scales for guitarists, piano players, sax players. The rudiments are the equivalent to scales, and every drummer should be able to play rudiments, know where they came from and where they are right now. There's a section explaining why they're applicable today, and they will always be, and also the big three: single strokes, double strokes, and the paradiddle. These are the three most important rudiments because they're the basis for all the other rudiments. So you're mastering these three, the others become a lot easier, and your playing will gonna become a lot more fluid. Okay? So let's start with the single stroke. Before we start with the single strokes, I would like to suggest that you practice a little bit your rebound stroke or free stroke, because this is very important to be relaxed and to make the most out of the natural rebound that the stick provides. Okay? Single stroke, as the title says, is one stroke with each hand. So before you have worked a little bit on your rebound, now let's get into the single stroke roll. I'm going to play all four figures that we have on the book: quarter notes, eighth note triplets, and 16th notes at 60 BPM. But after that, I'm going to elaborate a little bit more about that. So here we go. I'm going to play each figure twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth note triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sixteenth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice that I used the free stroke full to play these figures. Regardless if you use the full, the half of the low, be consistent to have every stroke exactly the same. This page, there are no accents, so every note should sound exactly the same. Now, after practicing individually each exercise, let's do from the quarter note to the 16th note twice. So 2 bars quarter notes, 2 bars eighth notes, 2 bars eighth note triplets, 2 bars 16th notes, back to the quarter note, and again up to the 16th note. So here we go, still 60 BPM. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes. Triplets. Sixteenth notes. Back to the beginning. If 60 BPM is a little bit too fast for you, go slower, 50, 40, whatever it takes. More important than speed is consistency. Once you get consistency, getting faster is easier. The other thing is, the reason why we practice in these different figures is quarter notes we usually play in very fast tempos, eighth notes, fast tempos, triplets in fast to medium tempos, and 16th notes, medium to slow tempos. Okay? So let's say we're doing 16th notes at 60 BPM. So once you're consistent with that, maybe you should try the quarter note at 180 or 150, then the eighth note at 140, the triplet at 120, and so on, and try to increase the speed. But that's one of the last steps. The first step is consistency at a speed that's comfortable to you, and then gradually you start speeding up. Now let's get out of the pad and apply the single stroke roll on the drum kit. So let's apply the single stroke roll to the drum kit. Very important. Even though there's a lot of cymbals, a lot of stuff on my drum kit, the core of my drum kit is a basic kit. Snare, 2 rack toms, floor tom, bass drum, hi-hat, crash cymbal, ride cymbal. So the drum kit you have at home and the core of my drum kit are the same. And this book is designed to be played on a basic drum kit. If you have a bigger drum kit, then you can expand the exercises. But if you concentrate on what is a basic drum kit, this book is perfect for it. So don't let all this influence you in a negative way that you're going to say, oh, I cannot play because my drum kit's not as big. Your drum kit is just fine. One more thing, my choice, personal choice, I play open-handed, meaning I play the hi-hat with my left hand. That's my personal choice. If you play the hi-hat with your right hand because you're right-handed, or if you have the whole kit set up on the different direction because you're left-handed, it's fine. This is my personal choice. You don't have to be open-handed. Nobody has. Not even I. Anyway, exercise number one of the single strokes, page 14. We're going to start with an exercise that very few people realize it's single strokes. A lot of drummers play, and not all of them realize it's single strokes. When we play 16th notes on the hi-hats, alternating right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay? It can be any beat you want. Exercise one in this book, this is the beat. So 16th notes on the hi-hat. If you practice the single stroke roll, your grooves are going to be a lot more consistent. Now, we can also incorporate the single stroke roll on a 16th note as part of a groove, and this is exercise 2. If you play cross-handed, you're going to play the hi-hat with your right hand. You're going to start the single stroke roll with your right hand. I play open-handed. I'm going to start with my left hand. So here we go. Now, finally, we got to where everybody wants to get, which is the single stroke roll as a drum fill, and that drum fill that everybody wants to play as soon as they start playing the drums. Single strokes. So let's try, let's play a groove 3 times and apply that as a drum fill. If you only have 2 cymbals, you can finish this fill playing on the right cymbal. If you have more, choose one. I'm going to choose this one. Here we go, exercise 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the pad, we practice different figures, quarter notes, eighth notes, triplets, 16th notes. So far, I only played 16th notes, but we can mix and match. So the next exercise, exercise 4, the drum fill is a mix of eighth notes and 16th notes. So this is exercise number 4. We played on the pad eighth note triplets. So let's play a drum fill with eighth note triplets and obviously a groove with eighth note triplets. Now let's play a shuffle, and the drum fill is still going to be the single stroke roll, but there will be a shuffle figure in the fill. Exercise 6. And to finish the first chapter, the single stroke, I'm going to play a bossa nova groove and play a drum fill. Okay? Yes, why not? So here you go, exercise 7. As you may notice, the very first beat on a bossa nova groove, you play everything together. Bass drum, cross stick, and hi-hat. And when you finish the drum fill, the very first note on the next bar is. So for this one, you have to edit the second time around. So you're not going to play this in the beginning. You can start from the second snare drum. And whenever you're playing drum fills, you can always adapt either to start the drum fill or when you finish it, and it's no problem. You don't have to play exactly the same thing non-stop all the time. So page 14 has 7 exercises on how to apply the single stroke 4. Feel free to vary the drum fills, orchestrate them any way you want, create your own drum fills, and even create a coordination exercise. For example, we can take this pattern on the bass drum for the bossa nova and play the single stroke on top of it. If you want, you can add the hi-hat on the end. And think about other styles of music that has an ostinato, this pattern that never changes. We call the ostinato. So use the ostinato played by the feet in another musical style and apply the single stroke roll. Okay, so this is chapter 1, the single stroke roll and its applications. I hope you liked. See you on the next chapter.